Okay, so with the 25th anniversary of Raw happening next Monday, I thought it'd be a good idea to review all the anniversary shows leading up to this big 25th anniversary show, and also taking a look back at the very first Raw, which took place on January 11th, 1993, in Manhattan, New York, at the Manhattan Center. Looking back at it, this is not going to be a review match by match of the show. This is going to be how I view the show from today's perspective and how I thought the show was produced. So I want to say this: the whole setting of the Manhattan Center was great. It gave like a different feel. It really did, for lack of a better phrase and no pun intended, it gave the show a raw feel. The Manhattan Center is a very it's a very compacted building. Everything is very close together and got people hanging off you. So it gave it like this. This gave like this unique feel to it. It's not this mega-sized arena. It's a very small, intimate building, which I thought really captured what they were trying to do with this show, which is to make it raw, make it feel unrated and uncooked, as they say. I don't know what that means, whatever. So, I like that whole setting. I also, for the most part, like the commentary team. You had Vince McMahon, the Macho Man, Randy Savage, and this guy called Rob Bartlett, who midway through the show started doing this Mike Tyson impersonation, which was strange. Was very hit and miss. And Rob Bartlett himself was very hit and miss. I think he tried a little too hard to be funny, but I did enjoy the Macho Man and Vince McMahon on commentary. They were okay. I think McMahon gets very overlooked as a commentator. He wasn't a great announcer, but you can tell he had a lot of enthusiasm. Then again, it's his company, so of course he'd be enthused. But he felt very real. And the Macho Man's the Macho Man. You can't go wrong with the Macho Man. In terms of matches, like I said, these matches were just squashes, pretty much. They're showcase pieces. You have Yokozuna dominating Koko Beware. And, of course, this was a good, showcase for Yokozuna, who will go on to dominate the year 1993. He would win that year's Royal Rumble. He would main event WrestleMania against Bret Hart, winning the championship. Then that screwy finish with Hulk Hogan would happen at WrestleMania, which led to the King of the Ring rematch, which also had a squirrely finish, which saw Yoko beat Hogan for the championship. So pretty much Yokozuna dominated all of 1993, winning the title twice. So that's good for Yoko. Then you had the Steiners, dominate the Executioners, and the Steiners were fresh into the company at this point. So this was a good introduction piece for the Steiners, who would go on to win the tag team titles twice in 1993. So they had a pretty good year. You had Max Moon challenging HBK for the Intercontinental Championship. And again, this was just a showcase piece for Shawn Michaels. Max Moon, who was played by Paul Diamond, the match, it is what it is. It's just a showcase piece for Shawn Michaels. And of course, this Raw is only remembered for two things. Number one, Bobby the Brain Heenan. Bobby Heenan was fucking hysterical throughout this entire show. The whole story with Bobby Heenan is that he's trying to get into the building, but they won't let him in the building. So he keeps disguising himself as different people, pretending to be a relative of Rob Bartlett. There's this one scene where he's dressed as a rabbi, claiming to be Rob Bartlett's rabbi. And Sean Mooney just says, "You're not a real rabbi, your beard's falling off." Shit was hysterical. Then you had, Bobby Heenan dressed in drag, claiming to be Rob Bartlett's grandma. And once again, Sean Mooney discovers it's Bobby Heenan. Bobby Heenan was hysterical. I love Bobby Heenan. Bobby Heenan deserves all the critical praise he gets because he truly was one of the greatest wrestling managers and wrestling personalities of all time. No one had the comedic timing of a Bobby Heenan. And to me, Raw showcased his strengths. He was hilarious. And of course, this show is also remembered for the infamous main event, which featured The Undertaker against Damien Demento, the infamous Damien Demento. Now, the only thing special about this match was that it was the very first Raw main event. As an actual match itself, The Undertaker just disposed of Damien Demento within a matter of minutes. So yeah, in a nutshell, that was the first Raw. Nothing now looking back on it now, it wasn't a landmark achievement. It was nothing spectacular. It was a very simple show. But the thing that stood out about this show is that it tried to give off this vibe of anything could happen, and I think in some cases it kind of did that, and then in other cases, but looking back on it now, this is a very important show because 25 years later, Raw's still on the air, and it all started right here on January 11th, 1993 in the infamous Manhattan Center with this very show. So, looking back on it as a typical wrestling fan, this show is throwaway. You will not remember it the next week. But looking back at it from an historical context, it laid the foundation for what was to come with future episodes of Raw in the years, months, weeks to come. So yeah, that is my view on the very first edition of Monday Night Raw. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll check you back next time when I cover the 10th anniversary of Raw, which was just an awards show, but I'll give my little opinion on the show itself. Anyway, like, comment, and subscribe to this video, and also subscribe to my other YouTube channel, which I'll put a link for in the description box below. Take care, guys.